So I want to do a quick video on cleaning your Dyson cordless vacuum. I'll be cleaning out a Dyson V7 Motorhead, but the instructions should apply to almost any Dyson cordless. So first off, I've broken down the vacuum. You have the motor unit with the bin and battery, obviously, the main connector piece, and then the primary cleaning head. You don't need a lot of parts for this. I have a pair of scissors. If you want to go crazy, you have some canned air, some wet or really damp paper towels. Just run through the process and see how it goes. Okay, so first off, we're gonna look at this extension piece, and there's really not a whole lot to do here. All you really need to do is take it off. Obviously, if it's filthy, give it a wipe down, but it probably hasn't gotten that dirty. And then what we're gonna do is look through it and look for any sort of obstructions or anything like that. There's nothing here, so no worries. You can actually see it looks pretty shiny, which is a good sign. It means it's clean. If it was dirty or there was an obstruction in there, you could stick like a ruler down there, or maybe a coat hanger, something that you could just poke through it. But be careful, whatever you use doesn't get stuck in here. So really, for this, nothing more to do. Okay, so next up, we're going to clean out this main cleaning head, and this is like the most complex part of the device, so it's worth giving it a really good clean. So it picks up an enormous amount of gunk. To do this, what you're gonna do first is unscrew this piece here. It's actually really hard to get with your hands, and it's a little too big for like a nickel or a quarter. So get a largest coin you have. I found this, inexplicably, I had this Canadian dollar. I've heard a British pound fits. But whatever, just give it a twist here, this will pop out. If your vacuum is older or dirtier, that could actually require a fair bit of force. Just make sure you're going counterclockwise when you're unscrewing it. And now you get the cleaning head out. It's actually called the beater bar. We'll get that out, and we get access to the interior of the head. This piece you don't really have to remove. But what you see is that over here is another piece that can be opened, and then here is a clear screen. Behind that clear screen, the vacuum can get a lot of stuff. You can see actually mine is holding some sort of bead. So what we do is pop this guy open and just follow the signs. We'll pop it to here it clip, and this will allow us to open up this piece right here. So now we have the beater bar, this protective bar, and we have good access to this area here, which is actually the main cleaning part that we want to get out now. My vacuum's not too dirty, but if you've been using your Dyson for a few months, I could tell you there will be a lot of gunk down here that you want to clean out. This is where it's helpful to stick something in there. Sometimes I'll use like a delivery chopstick to get in there. You could use a wet paper towel or a damp paper towel. You could also use a metal clothes hanger. And if things are really bad, just be careful, which you don't want to scratch up your device too much. This is obviously all plastic. And then make sure you get in here too. There shouldn't be too much there, but it's enough to, they want to give it a good clean. Again, this is where we can blow things out a little bit. And okay, so that will clean out the Dyson, but everything is gonna just get all over your house or apartment, whatever. So maybe if you're gonna do that, aim it away from your face and go outside and do it. Not necessarily recommended, but if you wanna get it absolutely clean, some canned air is always helpful. This little brush, you're gonna wanna get all this stuff off, and you could pull it off, or you could kind of rub it down with a sponge, or if you have like a cat hair brush, a piece of packing tape, if you put it around your hand and rub it, it'll get some of this stuff off, but most of it will happen just with your thumb and a few minutes. On the inside, there's really not much to it. We're gonna give it a wipe down. As for the beater brush, you can get some sort of comb and comb these out, but usually the best thing to do is get a pair of scissors, cut all the hair. This is pretty gross, but it's the hair of you and your loved ones, so it's not that bad. And with them cut, it's actually really easy to get all the hair off. Make sure there's no obstructions or anything like that in these corners, in here. Just make sure there's not too much dust kicking around, because what happens is the dust will build up over time in areas like this, and that's when the Dyson gets really difficult to clean and really difficult to take apart. So cleaning out the main unit is not particularly difficult, but it can take some time. The first thing you want to do, obviously, is something you do all the time, which is empty the bin. You do that just by putting it over a trash receptacle, pulling. Now what we can do is take it apart a little bit further than we normally would so that we can do an extra clean. And you do that by pulling back this red tab right here, separating the bin from the motor and battery unit. So with the two units separate, now what we can do is actually give a really good clean to the bin, which collects a huge amount of dirt and grime. But with the new design on the V7, it doesn't really hold on to dust and junk the way it used to on the DC59 or the V6. And then this is a good time to check for any sort of obstructions. What we want to prevent is it from getting really dirty over time. So yes, this is a cleaning just for general hygiene purposes, but it's actually really important preventative maintenance. I would not get it wet. Don't put it in the washing machine. Do not put it in the sink. There are metal contacts here and kind of like pretty light plastic components that you don't want to get too wet, and you want to be very gentle with. So give it a good clean, but also be cognizant of the fact that this is a device with a lot of fiddly little parts. Now we have the main unit. Again, be careful of this, because this hinge system or this rail system is actually like, it feels a little flimsy to me. So we're gonna want to give this a wipe down. Don't spray anything directly on here. Use a damp rag. As with before, if you want to hit it with a little bit of canned air, I won't blame you. Just keep it away from your face, and probably want to do that outside. That's especially true if you have any sort of allergen issues. Like, this is all super fine dust. Spraying this inside your house, like aerosol spraying it, is just gonna like weaponize it against your allergies. So a damp rag is really the right way to go here. And just again, we're cognizant for any collections of dust or grime or hair. They're not bad now, but you know, clean with this thing for a few months and they could get really built up. And that is pretty much it for this. Again, any blockages, any Legos in there, nothing, so we're good. The V7 Motorhead does not have a HEPA filter, but if you're watching this video and you own a V6 Absolute, or once the V7 Absolute comes out, or if you have a V8, then there is a filter back here. This will be a different color. This filter will unscrew and you could replace or clean out that filter. Okay, on to the V7's filter. As you likely know, the V7 does have a removable filter. It's right here. And I've already done a really extensive video on how to clean this filter. You can replace it. It's like, they're about $10 each, but you don't have to replace them very often. This filter is washable. So check out my other video and you'll see a really robust set of instructions on how to wash it. Long story short is you can get it wet under cold water. You can twist it to dry it out. You can squeeze it, but don't squeeze it or twist it too hard, because there's just little flimsy plastic parts inside and it can break. But the fact of the matter is, you can get it wet, towel it off, squeeze out as much of the water as you can, let it dry overnight. Once it's completely dry, you can put it back in the Dyson and you pretty much have a filter that's as good as new. You want to replace it every year or so, depending on your, your tolerance levels for hygiene, and then just like how you're feeling about it and how it holds up. But definitely washable, so check out that video. There's not really going to be anything in here. Obviously the filters are going to prevent like too much stuff from getting collected in here, but look inside, make sure it's good. Give this area a little wipe down. Don't stick anything in the main motor area. And that's it. That is how you clean your Dyson V7 vacuum. If you have any hints or tips, definitely leave them in the comments below. I always do check those out, and I have found them to be very helpful. So thanks for watching.